Old dog boxing, motherfucker.
I'm back again, the biggest hater in the sport of boxing. Yo, real quick, just got done. I woke up 3 a.m. I don't know, someone told me to study Canelo, study Crawford. Crawford about to beat the shit out of Canelo Alvarez. I'm letting y'all know right now, he about to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez. Yes, he is.
So Tim Bradley claims that something told him to get out of bed at 3 a.m. in the morning and watch some fight film of Canelo Alvarez and some fight film of Terence Crawford. And after watching the fight films of both of these guys, he came to the conclusion that Terence Crawford is going to beat the brakes off Canelo Alvarez. Alright, I mean, yeah, sounds good, but if you want my opinion, and I'm guessing that you do because you're here, I believe that Tim Bradley is just talking. Tim Bradley is saying some crazy shit like this to get some shock value, get some more traffic to his YouTube channel, because Top Rank's contract with ESPN is coming to an end. And what that means for Tim Bradley is that Tim's job is on the line here. That is why he is displaying himself on YouTube, hoping to get hired by DAZN. That's what I think is happening here. Top Rank's days on ESPN are numbered. Top Rank most likely will end up on DAZN, but DAZN already has commentators. They already have Sergio Mora and Chris Mannix. What I think is going on is that Tim Bradley is trying to take Sergio Mora's job or Chris Mannix's job. I'm telling y'all, that's what it is. That's what it has to be, because for a former boxer and a former world champion and now a professional boxing analyst, to say that Terence Crawford is going to beat the brakes off Canelo is crazy. I mean, it's one thing to say that Bud Crawford will put on a boxing clinic on Canelo or outbox Canelo, get a unanimous decision over Canelo, but to say Terence Crawford is going to beat the brakes off Canelo is a reach. And the reason I say this is because boxing is not a game, and in the sport of boxing there are weight classes for a reason. And if this fight were to take place and this fight were to happen, you better believe that this fight will be taking place at the super middleweight division, where Canelo is a unified champion. He has fought in this division numerous times, and he's comfortable at this weight. He's at his best at this weight, versus Terence Crawford, who has never fought at this weight division ever. And shout out to all of the Bud Crawford fans out there that believe that Bud Crawford could pull this one off, because I am a Terence Bud Crawford fan myself, but I am also a realist. I don't live in the fantasy land where the cat never catches Tweety Bird. For Bud Crawford to move up 2 weight divisions and challenge not just any super middleweight, but the super middleweight, without taking any tune-ups or simply just getting his feet wet in the division first, just straight jumping the line and taking on the super middleweight's very own unified champion is a reach. And just because you've seen Terence Crawford defeat Jeff Horn, Sean Porter, Earl Spence, those are all great names, right? They're good, but that does not mean he will be able to defeat Saul Canelo Alvarez. I'm telling y'all right now, Terence Crawford has never seen anything like Canelo Alvarez before. But Canelo has fought opponents with similar styles to Terence Crawford, and he's faced much bigger and stronger opponents than Crawford, like Bivol, like Daniel Jacobs, like Caleb Plant, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Triple G. Canelo Alvarez has also been in there with guys with similar styles to Bud Crawford's, like Floyd Mayweather, like Erislandy Lara, like Austin Trout, Daniel Jacobs. And just because Floyd Mayweather was successful at defeating Canelo Alvarez and giving Saul his first defeat does not mean that it is an easy task to do, because if it was easy, then that would mean everybody else that has tried would be able to do it as well. But as we all know, many have tried, and very few have been successful at cracking that Canelo code. Another thing that you have to keep in mind is that Canelo is not the same 23-year-old that fought Floyd Mayweather at a catch weight, and Mayweather also put a rehydration clause on Canelo as well for that fight. But things have changed since then. Canelo has gotten a lot smarter. He's gotten a lot more experience. And although Bud Crawford put on a masterclass performance on Errol Spence, that does not mean that Crawford will be able to put a similar display on against Saul Canelo Alvarez. Because Bud Crawford, after unifying the welterweight division, he decided to move up and face Israel Madrimov at the 154 weight division. And at the junior middleweight division, Terence Crawford looked a lot more human than he did at the welterweight division. No longer was Terence Crawford beating up and bullying guys like he once did, but instead he found himself going all 12 rounds with the much bigger and stronger Madrimov. And although Bud Crawford won that fight, I noticed that Israel Madrimov was able to take Crawford's punches a lot better than Errol Spence did. Terence Crawford's power did not transfer well on over into the junior middleweight division. And the more and more fighters move up in weight divisions, the less and less effective they become. Because if Crawford couldn't even get Madrimov out of there, what makes you think that he'll be able to hurt Canelo Alvarez? I'm telling you guys what's real. And the reality is that Crawford couldn't knock out Madrimov. He couldn't hurt Madrimov. So what makes you think that he'll be more effective against Canelo than he was versus Madrimov? Hell, I even got Yanni Beck at 160 defeating Crawford. I don't even think Crawford gets past Yanni Beck at 160. Let me ask you guys this. If this was anybody else at the 168 division, do you really give Crawford a chance of winning? If this was David Morrell and he was still at 168, if David Morrell was still at 168, do you really got Crawford winning versus David Morrell? What about David Benavidez? If David Benavidez was still at 168, do y'all really see Terence Crawford defeating David Benavidez? Probably not, right? So if you don't believe that Bud Crawford can beat Morrell or Benavidez, what makes you think that he'll have any more success versus Canelo Alvarez? American boxing fans must think that Canelo is a sucker with no power, no ring IQ, no experience, that didn't earn the position that he's in. Americans think that Canelo was just given this position. The position of power, the position of being the highest paid fighter in the sport. It's crazy to me how far the American boxing fan, the lengths the American boxing fan will go to see the Mexicans' downfall. Y'all want to see Canelo lose so bad that y'all are willing to watch Bud Crawford get hurt in there. I mean, really bad. If this fight does come into fruition, y'all want to know how this fight will go? It'll look like Jermell Charlo versus Canelo all over again. As soon as Bud Crawford feels Canelo's power, his survival instincts will kick in, and Bud Crawford will get on his bike and just try to survive. And it's crazy to me how fast the American boxing fan, how quick you throw away a fighter and forget about all of their achievements. Like, it's amazing to me how fast y'all forgot Jermell Charlo was the undisputed champion at 154 before moving up to fight Canelo Alvarez. I already know what you guys are going to say. Well, dog, boxing Crawford is just a different breed from Jermell Charlo. And try to act like Jermell Charlo wasn't at one point that guy at the 154 division. But one more thing I wanted to say before getting off of here. And that thing is this. I think you guys are forgetting to mention, or you're just not realizing that Canelo Alvarez has been more active than Terence Crawford. Crawford hasn't even been active enough, man. He doesn't have the activity on his side, or the age, or the size, no diddy. But yeah, man, don't let Tim Bradley get you all pumped up. This dude's just talking just to talk. But that's all I got for this one. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section, man. It's your boy O-Dog Boxing, and I'm out this bitch.